Oh, I tell you what, that was a spicy one to start off this morning. Boys, welcome back to another video. So that was our race conditioning session right there. A new session in which we've added into this second training block now on the lead up to Istanbul. That right there was 1k run at 4:10 pace, followed by 1k ski, followed by a repeat of that 1k run at 4:10 pace, 50 meter broad jump burpees. That was block 1. Block 2, 800 meter run at 350 pace, 1k row, 800 meter run at 350 pace, followed by 50 meter sled at race weight. And then block 3 was 600 meter run at 335 pace, followed by 50 meter sled pull at race weight, another 600 meter run at 335 pace, followed by 100 wall balls, which that is the first time I have ever gone 100 wall balls unbroken. I tell you, I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. Had to push for it for sure, but that just, yeah, at the end of that session felt great. I'm getting better now. I am getting good. I'm hoping that by the end of this year, I could be at a level where I'm like respectable at HYROX. I'm like respectably good at HYROX. And of course, a flag would be nice as well, but that's obviously what we're going hunting for in 3 weeks' time. Reese, if you need me to pull out the, what would I call it? If you need me to pull out the superpower at the end of our doubles in order to secure the flag 100 wall balls unbroken to get us over that finish line and get us on podium, you just let me know, brother. But anyway, we're off for Mill 1 now. See you there. Right, boys, we are back now for the second session. But for Mill 1, as you missed it, it was 4 whole eggs, 200 gram of egg white, 100 gram of oats with a scoop of whey protein. So that was that there. That was the post fuel after race conditioning this morning. I can't lie, that session ripped me off a little bit, but we do have a double session to hit today. So I'm about to go on a 8k easy run. Gonna take it easy though, for sure. I get told by my coach, keep it between 5:30, 6k pace, and I usually end up taking off and averaging out around about 5k pace throughout the run. I think for this one, with how beat up I'm feeling after that session earlier, I will be keeping it well within 5:30 to 6k pace. So yeah, we're gonna hit that now. And there we have it. That is session number 2 boxed off. 8k base run. I think I said, didn't I was going to take it slow. Average pace 5:27. So we weren't looking too bad there. I thought that was going to be like a slow 6k slog, but once I really started to pick up, I felt quite good, to be fair. I actually really enjoyed that run, and I wasn't feeling it in all honesty, but as we know, they are always the best sessions. But anyway, gonna head home now, get showered, and then I am back behind the desk for an evening worth of calls. I think I've got, what, 5, 6 back-to-back calls this evening, so gonna be a busy one. So I most likely will pick this up after, or I'll see you tomorrow morning for 1 mile repeats. Boys, here we are. It is the following morning and we have got some 1 mile repeats to attend. So I've got 4 times 1600 meters on the card at threshold pace. So even though that's not like crazy in regards to the volume of the session, that's just over 6k really in the legs. This is going to feel long. Like, this is going to feel very long, especially at threshold pace, because obviously threshold pace is a pace in which you can sustain, but it's still hard. Like, you want to get to the end of a threshold session and feel like, right, okay, I have another rep in the tank. But it's what Steve likes to say, sustainable suffering. I quite like that term. It is. You're almost running at a threshold pace and you feel as if like, oh, fucking hell, like this is hard, but it's like a controllable hard. So for me, that would likely be anywhere between like 350 and 410 pace. That is what I would consider my threshold pace. If I push my pace to more like 330 or below that, that's when I start to notice that, like, right, okay, this is virtually turning into a sprint for me, a VO2 session. So yeah, I most likely will go into the first one at 410 pace, see how I feel, but that will likely be the pace in which I hold for all 4 rounds. So just to repeat that, we're doing 4 times 1600 meters. In between each round, there is 90 seconds walking rest, and then we go again. So yeah, let's crack on with that. So that was the session there. In the end, held 4:10 pace for all 4 rounds, which felt so comfortable. Like, that is what I would say is my ideal threshold pace. It was hard, but it was definitely sustainable. I got to the end of that session and I felt like, yeah, I have another rep left in the tank. And my average heart rate throughout the session sat at 145, which for me is insane. Bearing in mind aerobic development was the main thing in which I wanted to improve throughout this block of training leading into my next race. And to think like a 60-minute zone 2 effort, I'd be running at what I would consider an easy pace and my heart rate would skyrocket to 160, 170. And my heart rate now throughout a threshold session is sat at like 145. It's just, yeah, it's insane to see. Like my 8K yesterday, in which you saw me run, the heat was absolutely fucking unbearable. And bearing in mind, I was training in Bali at the start of this year. And throughout that 8K there, my heart rate again sat at around, 140, 145. So yeah, aerobic base fitness is improving. Feeling great at the minute. Maybe a touch fatigue in the shins because, well, I literally just have done 3 sessions over the past 2 days, all involving a little bit of running, just because I had to pair them up together. Reason being is because I'm going to take tomorrow as a full rest day. But with that, I'm going to head off for my meal 1 now after wrapping up 10 minutes on the bike just to kickstart recovery, and then I most likely will take you through my training split going forward because a few things are switched up. There's a few sessions in which have been pulled now, so I'm going to explain the rationale as to why. You guys have literally just seen me do 3 sessions which are all based around running and HYROX. So you may be wondering as well, Finn, do you even still lift weights? I do. I still lift weights to a very good standard. Still very fucking heavy, but just less frequency and volume now. But I will get round to all that later on. Clip you on there. We should be good to go now, boys. So that was this morning's session, as you could see. Now, little update on, I suppose, just my journey as a whole on the build up to Istanbul. And I kind of came across this thought earlier, and it's just, it's quite exciting at the minute for me in regards to my whole training. Now, obviously, as you know, like I'm not trying to be like the best athlete in the world. I'm not trying to reach the elite 15 HYROX. I'm not trying to get sponsorships left, right, and center. That's just not me. I'm always a coach first. But with my mindset and how I kind of approach everything, I will always try to be the best at everything in which I do, because ultimately if you're going to do something, you do something properly. That's the way in which I've always been. So ultimately, with my structured day to day, how I train, how I eat, my routine, it all ties into just trying to be the best at everything in which I do. And despite the fact that my goal isn't necessarily to be an athlete, because I'm always going to be a coach first, I do want to be the best athlete that I can possibly be. And right now I'm doing everything bang on to a T when it comes to my training, my eating, absolutely everything. I feel like each and every session I'm pushing myself harder and harder. I feel like each and every session I'm getting fitter and fitter, and it's quite exciting to think from here, if I continue nailing absolutely everything and I'm on the money with absolutely everything, what is that version of myself going to be that did everything right? Because right now I'm feeling the fittest in which I've ever been. Like, it is undeniable that I'm rocking up to Istanbul in the shape of my life. I've never felt this fit before, ever. And I am at that age where I'm only going to get better from here. I'm only going to get better from here, and I still got a very, very long runway in this sport. Despite the fact that I look like I'm going on 40, I promise you I'm still a young whippersnapper. I'm still a young whippersnapper. I've got time, ultimately, in order to continue getting fitter, stronger, and ultimately giving it my best shot possible in HYROX, which is of course my main focus now. Yes, I still train hypertrophy, I still lift weights, I still want a phenomenal physique year round, because that is always going to be extremely important for me. But as you guys know, I do need something to aim for on the side. That is no longer bodybuilding. For now, it's HYROX. In the future, it could be a photo shoot prep, could be a Muay Thai fight, could be absolutely anything. But right now it's HYROX, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving all aspects of it right now. I could not be more, I want to say motivated, but that's not the word, 'cause don't get me wrong, I do get days in which I wake up and I think, fuck this, I don't want to do it, but I do it anyway, and I always feel great afterwards. But I think the term in which I'm looking for here is I'm inspired by what I'm doing. To think that I could rock up to Istanbul, get a PR, walk away with a flag, get a podium place in, it excites me. It excites me. I'm just fucking raring for it. I'm raring for it right now. But yeah, ultimately that's that there. It's right now I'm in such a groove with everything. I feel like by the back end of this year, I could very much see the best version of myself, and that's exciting. But in regards to my training, let me run you through that now for those of you that are interested, because I had quite a funny conversation with my coach the other day on a one-to-one call. And obviously, as you know, back in Marbella, I ran a deload, right? Of course, implemented via the coach. And I've looked at this new training block going forward for the final 4 weeks of this training block leading into Istanbul. And I thought, that's interesting. There's no leg day. So to give you some context in regards to what I'm doing, Monday we have a double session. We have fartlek, which is essentially 10 times 2 minute at high end threshold, followed by 2 minutes at 5:15 pace. So 10 rounds of that, right? 2 minutes at high threshold, 2 minutes at 5:15. That's one round. We repeat that 10 times continuously. We then later that evening have upper body building, which is just full upper body. Tuesday we have mixed aerobic. Wednesday we have a base run with 60-minute Stairmaster. On Thursday we have 1 mile repeats, which should be Thursday, but you guys saw it this morning. There are weeks, well, pretty much every week I adjust my sessions across the week to kind of fit my routine in that regards. Friday we have hypertrophy B, which again is just a full upper body hypertrophy session. Saturday morning we have race conditioning, and then on Sunday we have another base run followed by 60-minute Stairmaster. So as you can see, no leg day there, and it was quite funny because, like I say, I caught up with Steve the other day on a call, and he kind of just said, because I think I mentioned in a previous video, I said to him right at the start, because in regards to my hypertrophy sessions, he was going to give me 2 lower body days and 1 upper body day, and I was like, yo, Steve, like my legs are probably the most dominant body part on my physique. I'd probably say just 1 leg day a week would be absolutely fine. For those of you that have been, subscribed for some time, you would know that back in my men's physique days, I was training legs once every 3 weeks, and they were virtually still progressing. They were still getting bigger. And then Steve's literally said to me on the call the other day, he was like, look, I want you to enjoy your training, and of course, I ultimately want you to be inspired by what you're doing. I want you to be motivated by what you're doing in the gym, but your legs are fucking huge. And I just went, yeah. Yeah, my legs are big. And he was like, honestly, like when you first said that to me, I thought that it was just like, typical bodybuilder, they always say their legs are huge just so that way they don't have to smash leg days. But your legs are fucking huge. He kind of realized that after watching one of my YouTube videos, maybe one of the previous ones, where I said that I would love to lose a couple of inches to the legs in order to drop a little bit more weight and be lighter on my feet. But Steve ultimately said to me, you don't need a direct leg day. Like for what we're doing and the goal in which we're working towards right now, you do not need a direct leg day. If we could just continue building that capacity up in the legs via running, etc., then that is ultimately what we'll do. My legs have always had a hell of a lot of strength. I've never really trained legs hard. I have trained legs hard for sure. I always train hard, but ultimately my leg days have always been much lower volume, much less frequency, and they still just seem to be sat here realistically. Even with running, like back when I was in Bali, I was probably racking up 50k per week in the legs running total, and my legs were still just holding on, and I was thinking, fuck me, what have I got to do to lose size to these legs? Just does not seem to be happening. But ultimately that is why we're not running a direct leg day. If I'm running around with big old fucking legs, then that's ultimately just going to slow me down. So we've completely pulled a direct leg day. We're doing 2 hypertrophy upper sessions, and then as you can see, the rest is very much running, HYROX, etc., etc. So that's ultimately the training split there. But can't lie, loving it at the minute, loving it. When Steve said, oh, I want you to enjoy your training, so if you do want a leg day, you can have one. I'm thinking, I don't really enjoy legs, in all honesty. The leg session in which Steve logged me prior, which was literally, like I say, squats, reverse lunges, an ISO hold, wall balls and Stairmaster, was literally like my favorite ever leg session in which I think I've ever done since I started training. Mainly just because it was like 2 direct leg exercises. I've always hated training legs. I've never really enjoyed training legs. So for me, I feel like this split is ideal. Like this is like my ideal split right now. But I'm really enjoying it as a whole. Really enjoying it as a whole. Like I say, with my training, don't get me wrong, you know, and I speak to clients around this all the time. There are still days where I wake up and I ultimately don't want to fucking do it. But when you're working towards a goal in which inspires you, you get the box ticked anyway. And ultimately you do it regardless. And after the session, I always feel a hell of a lot better. For example, that base run in which you saw earlier this video, did not want to fucking do that. I felt absolutely cooked. I feel like I felt quite cooked after majority of my sessions this training block, mainly because of the weather in the UK right now. It's ridiculously hot. That's when majority of people tend to suffer with motivation. They're not wanting to train as such. It all starts to feel a little bit more like a chore, but ultimately if you're working towards a goal in which inspires you, you get the box ticked anyway. You get the box ticked anyway. And even for me, a coach, fitness influencer, I'm not really sure if you can call me that yet, maybe, built somewhat of a following, not a huge following, but somewhat of a following. But ultimately, this is my job, this is my life, it's my job to stay in shape, it's my job to train fucking hard, work towards goals, etc, etc. I have to ultimately lead from the front, right? And I love it. I absolutely love this lifestyle, but I still get days, probably more often than not, in which I don't want to fucking do it, but I do it anyway. And the more you do that, the more you build up that pain tolerance to just continue doing it when you don't want to do it. So yeah, that's everything in regards to my training right now. I'm about to hop in the shower because I'm off to watch the World Cup game this evening. So speak soon.